We're now going to select the type of finish we're going to put on our firearm. The original gun was blued, which is a oxide process, and it's attractive. You could reblue it if you wanted. However, the finish wears fairly easily. You notice that this gun has a lot of rust on it just from sitting in a closet probably, and more than likely your shotgun is going to be sitting ready and waiting for use, hopefully never having to be used. But you want a finish on it that's going to be durable and long-term. Bluing is also somewhat reflective. You notice that it reflects a lot of light there. So probably not going to be my choice, but if you want to learn how to blue, and it is appropriate for many fine firearms, AGI has a course on professional metal finishing and rebluing, also on slow rust and niter bluing. So these are two different courses that you can take if you want to learn all about metal finishing. Okay, now if you are not going to blue your firearm, you've decided that's not what I want to do. I don't want to blue it. I want to have a different type of finish, probably a dull finish. Well, the least expensive process and easiest process is to use a product from Brownells, and it is a spray-on, bake-on aerosol finish. And AGI provides a videotape on how to do that step by step. You spray it on, it's a baking lacquer, you bake it in the oven, and it provides a fairly durable, very inexpensive, and dull finish. So that's a very inexpensive way to go, probably half the cost of bluing or parkerizing, if even that. Then there's parkerizing. Now parkerizing is another type of finish that you most often come across in military type firearms. This is an example of a parkerized finish. It's dull and gray, or possibly a green or a blue color. There's several different colors of parkerizing. It's a pretty durable finish. It's relatively inexpensive, but it does scratch. You can kind of see how this has gotten scratched up here. And I don't necessarily think it's the best choice. Now, AGI, if you are going to do parkerizing, AGI, we've created a very, very simple kit along with a step-by-step instructional video course on how to parkerize. And if you want to get finishes just like were factory finishes on military firearms, this is definitely the ticket, the way to go. We'll walk you through the process step by step, and that's relatively inexpensive. My choice, and what we're going to do on this particular firearm, on our defense shotgun, is a synthetic process called gun coat. Now, gun coat has a lot of wonderful features. First off, there's no chemical dip to it. We totally degrease the parts, and then we bead blast or sand blast the metal to create the porosity and to clean off any rust or any other impurities that might be on the surface of the metal. We then heat the metal to a particular temperature, and then we airbrush on the material. Now the material has a moly or a Teflon base to it, and so it provides some natural lubricant. It goes on just a few thousandths thick, not even a thousandth actually, about a half a thousandth thick, and so it doesn't interfere with the fit and function of the firearm. Extremely durable. It's passed the 500-hour salt test where they spray salt water on the firearm or on the finish, and it can't rust within that time period at a certain temperature and humidity. Very durable, fairly easy to apply, and AGI has a complete kit produced for us by KG that includes canned air, which will operate the airbrush and the material for applying it. Great way to go, and this is what we're going to be using on our firearm. Now, what parts are we going to do? Well, we've chosen that we're going to do the barrel. All right? So we're going to need to prep the barrel. Again, we degrease it, and then we're going to blast it. I'm going to want even though there's a brand new mount for the magazine tube extension, I'm going to want to have the same finish as the rest of the firearm, so I'm going to do that part. The magazine tube extension is a brand new part but I'm going to blast that and have that match the same finish. I'm going to do the slide in the 4-andiron. I want to make sure that I'm not creating a situation where I'm wearing any of the parts or causing any unneeded friction, but with the KG coat, it's actually going to add additional lubricant to the metal. And then of course I'm going to be doing the entire receiver, and again you want to have the completely degreased. Now back to the trigger group. We had said before that you don't want to blue or parkerize your trigger group because it's aluminum, and the process will eat the aluminum away. It just erodes it away. You can, however, either use the tactical spray coating we talked about earlier, or you can use the KG coat. Now in this case, this particular trigger group is really in pretty good shape, and so we're not going to need to do either. If we choose to, we can do the safety, the new safety, or the old safety if we want. I'm going to be putting a new big head safety in this, but this, if we use the old safety, remember that you're going to either have to mask the area that has the red coating for the warning signal that it's in the fire position, or you're going to have to replace that, repaint that after you've blued or parkerized. Alright, we've degreased all the parts and we've preheated the oven to 125 degrees. Putting the parts in, going to let them preheat to 125, and we'll be back to spray. Don't let your wife catch you doing this. Alright, our parts are now ready. They're preheated to 125 degrees. If you don't trust your oven, go to a commercial cooking store and they'll have a thermometer, digital thermometer to use, and you want to try and maintain as accurate of temperatures as possible. We want to spray these parts while they're hot, so let's go do that right now. We've taken our preheated receiver and we've hung it on our impromptu spray booth table, and we're going to coat it now with Gun Coat by KG Products. AGI has a complete airbrush kit with the Gun Coat in it. Let's go ahead and get started. You want to keep it 8 to 10 inches away and kind of lead the part off the ends so that any of the splatter spray that typically happens with the when you start goes off onto the paper. The ideal thickness is 3 to 4 thousandths thick, and you want to spray from many different angles to ensure that you're getting proper coverage without causing runs. We finished spraying our parts, and we're now putting them in the oven to cure for an hour at 325 degrees. Now we don't want to overcook them, so let's set our timer and go watch some TV. Alright, it's been an hour. We're going to take our parts out now. We'll coat them with Gun Coat oil, and we'll do our reassembly.